What's up? Ryan K here from Refer.io with today's hiring tip. Before we jump in though, click on the subscribe button and subscribe to my channel. Number one. Number two, if you are not getting emails from me, if I'm not sending you jobs every single day, jump over to Refer.io, click on the job alert or the subscribe button at the top of our site, put in your name and email address, the type of job you want, and the location you want it in, and I will go out and scour the entire internet and bring jobs right to your inbox. Now, today we're going to talk about something that everybody has a question about at some point, which is how do I get my first job? I actually have two. Now they're no longer, well, one of them's 19, one of them's 22 now. They used to be teenagers and one of them is still a teenager and a 14-year-old son. And they all had this question for me at some point in their life. Dad, how do I get my first job because I've never had a job before? It is this weird, strange paradox that almost every teenager or college student, if you didn't get a job before you got into college, has. How do I get my first job? These people want my resume and I have nothing to put on my resume. And we spend all this time and attention trying to create and fluff up our resume and make it look good, when in actuality, that actually isn't the way to get your first job. So today I'm going to unpack a step-by-step process for how to go about getting your first job. You just need to understand one core premise up front. It's not about what you know, it's about who you know. That right there is the key here. Number two is when you haven't done it before, what you're trying to do is show that you can do it, that you're smart enough to do it, that you have the potential to do it. You see, when we don't have education or experience that would makes us qualified for a job, then we have to qualify in a different way. And the way that you go about qualifying is really just a handful of things. I bolt them down into three. It's who you know, it's your ability to show that you look like somebody who'd do great at the job, and it's your ability to show that you talk like somebody that would do great at a job. What employers want to know is two main things. Number one, they want to know that it's not a risk to hire you. Now, think about that for a minute and say, what would be risky for an employer to hire me? Well, it would be that you didn't show up, that you didn't show up on time, that you didn't follow through with what you were told to do, that you didn't listen to instructions, you didn't follow instructions, that you weren't learning and growing, that you weren't actually helpful, that they're paying you money and get nothing in return. Number two would be that once they know you're not a risk, they want to know if you're going to be a rock star, right? You don't want to pitch that you're a rock star until you show them that you're not a risk. So how do you go about doing that? Number one is you want to be an employee referral. What that means is that while you might get on Indeed or on the internet and look for a job, or you might go and find help wanted signs in your local area, before you apply, you need to go into that location and figure out if you know somebody who works there. There are three main ways to figure out if you know somebody who works there. Number one, actually go in and watch the employees. Tell your parents or you go in there yourself, hang out there enough times because I almost guarantee that you will know somebody who works there. Once you see that you know somebody, go and talk to them. Hey, how do you like working here? I want to apply. Can I put your name down as the person who referred me? That right there, just ask them. You want them to know that you're getting a referral. Now, here's the little secret for those of you who haven't had a job before. Most employers pay some type of a reward when your friend refers you there. And so because of that, they have a reason to let you put their name down on your application. So that's number one. Go in, hang out. Number two would be get on Facebook. Now, I know some younger people may not spend very much time on Facebook, but there's a reason why Facebook is so powerful. If you get on Facebook and you go search Facebook groups, there are groups in your local area about help wanted, hiring, or jobs. You just need to go to the search, type in your city and state, and then type in the word either hiring, help wanted, or jobs. And you'll find that there's local groups in there. Go join the group, go into that group and ask the question, does anybody here work at, and then type in the name of the company you want the job at. What you're going to get is people saying, yes, I work there, or, oh, I know somebody who works there. It is my son, my brother, my cousin, whatever the case may be. Once they comment back, you want to engage with them and say, oh, that's awesome. I want to apply there, and I was wondering if they could give me a referral, if I could use their name as the person who told me about the job. You may have to connect with them and direct message them through Facebook, etc., etc. But the key here is to be able to get their name and the fact that they know that you applied. So that's step one. You need to find somebody you can apply as their referral. Number two is when you go to apply, don't go through the job boards. Go to their website and fill out the online application. Just make sure when it says, how did you hear about the job, that you type in that person's name. If you don't do that, then this isn't going to work that way. So you go and apply through their website using that person's name. Now, step number 2 is, now that you've done that, let that person know you applied. Hit up your friend, hit them up on Facebook, walk back in with your resume and hand it to them and say, hey, I applied already online. And so maybe you can hit up your boss or talk to your manager or talk to HR and let them know that I applied. Generally, when you tell that person that you applied online, they'll go talk to the person who does the screening. That will cause them to go and look for your resume. Now, number 3 has to do with proximity. If this is a retail or a restaurant job and you really want to work there, well, you need to have proximity. That means go hang out there. Spend more time there. Every time your family or friends want to go somewhere to eat, go there. Choose there. Pick there. Now, don't be a distraction. Don't be a pain, but show up there. Make sure that you're engaging in conversation while you're there. Now, what would you want to talk about? There's 2 main ways for you to gather knowledge about what's going on there. Number 1, don't just go to the restaurant like you're a customer. Actually, watch what the employees are doing. Think about this like you're that employee. Why do they ask the questions they ask? What do they do with the information? What kind of computer software do they use? What kind of point of sale software do they use? Watch what they're doing. Ask your friend or acquaintance what kind of software they use. Go online and Google it. Learn about that software. Watch YouTube videos about how to do that. It will level up your ability to know what's going on. Number 2, go online to Yelp and read all of their good and bad reviews for that restaurant, service, business, whatever the case may be. You can also go to Glassdoor or Indeed and read the employee reviews there. But on the customer review side, what you're trying to figure out is, what do customers love about that restaurant or that store, and what do they dislike about it? You can also go to their website and do all this research. The reason why you're doing this is because you want to walk in when you meet for an interview or when you meet the manager because you happen to be there talking to your friend. You want to sound credible. You want to decrease the risk of hiring you and increase the chances that you're a rock star. What employers are looking for is people who take initiative, people who do things without being asked. And the fact that you've gone and researched all this information will put you on the top of the list, because nobody else that you're competing with for this job is going to do any of those things. The final part, if you really want to push the needle forward, once you've done everything else, go in and ask to talk to the manager. Say, hey, I applied on your website. My friend or the people, these certain people I know work here. I've actually been doing a bunch of research about your company online. It sounds like you're a great place to work. It sounds like you're a great place to eat. I know a ton about your menu. Oh my gosh, I love this place. I would love to have a chance to interview with you. And that's that last part, right? All of these things at this point, trust me, you didn't need a resume at all. Clearly, you should create one because there's a formality for it. It is something they expect. But to be honest, they're not going to spend any time looking at that resume because of everything that you just went through in the process. It's who you know, not what you know. It's the fact that you have taken the initiative to do research. You've gone out of your way to get proximity. You've been around the people who work there. You've been around the people in that environment. You know things about it. This right here is the easiest way to go about getting a job. It is the most guaranteed way to go about doing the job. It just requires you to take the initiative to actually run through that process. So there you go, right there. How to get your first job. How to get a job when you don't have a resume, when you have no experience, very little education, no reason for somebody to hire you. Well, it's really quite simple. You need to give them a reason. And that reason is who you know and what you know. But the what here is the fact that you know everything about their restaurant. You know everything about their customers. You know about their menu. You know about maybe their software they use. You know about their marketing. You follow them on Facebook. You hear their marketing message. That is the what you know that makes up for the fact that you don't have education or work experience or anything like that. Because once you nail this first job, you're now on your path where you have previous experience, and it'll be much easier to get the second and third job. Thanks so much for watching today. If you liked this video, go down and subscribe to the YouTube channel, number 1. Number 2, go over to Refer.io, click on the job alert or the subscribe button at the top, put in your name, email address, the type of jobs you're looking for, and the location, and I will send jobs to you every single day. Until next time, good luck getting a job.